To the United States now, where President Donald Trump is talking about his favorite word again today. That, of course, would be tariffs. The CBC's Richard Madden is in Washington with more. So, Richard, what's the latest?
Andrew, yeah, several more plot twists to the president's chaotic tariff policy. You'll recall those 125% tariff exemptions on Chinese tech devices like laptops or smartphones that Trump announced on Friday is now apparently temporary. The White House says they plan to reimpose them down the road sometime soon. But the president also said he's looking at exempting other products from tariffs, and that could include potentially car parts and components made in Canada, covered under the USMCA trade agreement as it applies to the integrated auto sector. Watch this.
I'm looking at something to help some of the car companies where they're switching to parts that were made in Canada, Mexico, and other places, and they need a little bit of time because they're going to make them here, but they need a little bit of time. So I'm talking about things like that.
Okay, so possibly an extension or another carve-out. We're still waiting for clarification from the White House on what exactly the president has in mind. But it certainly fits with this constantly changing tariff agenda rolled out by this administration. As you know, tariffs remain on metals, stacked tariffs totaling some 145% on certain Chinese imports, and of course those blanket 10% tariffs on most trading partners, Trump called Liberation Day. But now Trump says to expect another set of tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals under the guise of national security. Take a listen to this.
We don't make our own drugs, our own pharmaceuticals. We don't make our own drugs anymore. The drug companies are in Ireland and they're in lots of other places, China. And all I have to do is impose a tariff. The more, the faster they move in. The higher the tariff, it's very simple. It's inversely proportional. The higher the tariff, the faster they come. And yeah, we're going to be doing that. That's going to be like we have on cars. We have, as you know, a 25% tariff on cars. We have a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum. And that's what that category fits right now.
Okay, so needless to say, it's another surprising turn of events from just 3 days ago when Trump exempted most electronic imports from China, essentially caving to the growing pressure from tech giant Apple and other exports who warned consumer prices would spike. But then last night, Trump posted on his website there was no tariff exemption, despite the fact that the word exemptions, I don't know if you can see it here, it's literally in the headline of Trump's own executive order. But now he's signaling maybe some exemptions, but not others. We're seeing China now escalating the trade war, retaliating with 125% tariffs on U.S. imports. And China has reportedly suspended critical mineral exports to the U.S. as this trade war escalates between the world's two largest economy. And Andrew, this happening as President Xi Jinping is on a charm offensive in Southeast Asia. He's starting in Vietnam with a goal to bolster trade relationships in that region and shore up alliances in countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia. These are countries that are feeling the impact of Trump's tariffs.
President Trump is also hosting the leader of El Salvador at the White House today. This comes, of course, as the U.S. continues to deport migrants that the Trump administration claims are members of gangs in El Salvador. What more can you tell us about this meeting?
Yeah, this is another major file on the president's desk. So he greeted El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. He calls himself the world's coolest dictator, and he's the first Latin American leader to get an official invite to the Oval Office since Trump took power. And as you noted just moments ago, he's also an enthusiastic backer of Trump's anti-immigration policies. And his country has partnered up with the administration in the $6 million deal to accept hundreds of deportees from the U.S. to El Salvador's notorious mega prison. And one of those deportees is at the center of a heightened legal fight here that's gone all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, the White House admits they made an error deporting a migrant by the name of Kilmar Garcia, who has protected legal status here. His wife is a U.S. citizen. She says he has no criminal record or is a member of any gang. On Friday, the Supreme Court ordered the administration to bring him back, but Trump's Justice Department hasn't acted, saying the courts have no authority to tell the White House what to do, and the deportee in question is now outside America's jurisdiction. The White House claims he's a known member of a criminal gang, MS-13, but hasn't presented any evidence of it. Now, the top administration officials and the president of El Salvador say he's not coming back. Take a listen.
Right now, it was a paperwork. It was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it.
You're not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's only
how can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So all this setting up a potential constitutional crisis with the White House refusing to abide a ruling from the highest court in the land. So we're going to be watching that very closely. Andrew, I just also wanted to share some other noteworthy comments from the president during that exchange in the Oval Office. He responded to the status of peace talks to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We heard Trump question Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky's competency. He brought up that disastrous meeting in the Oval Office last month, and again, falsely accusing Zelensky of starting the war. He's now calling Russia's invasion of Ukraine Biden's war, insisting that as president, Trump plans to stop it, but we're not sure what the status is on those talks.
Richard, thank you. The CBC's Richard Madden live in Washington.